It's Saturday the 25th, and I wanted to do a quick video on a product review and some problem solving. So the product that I want to do a review on is this WindTact anemometer, right? It measures wind speed in CFM, miles an hour, knots, all that stuff. It gives you chill factor, temperature readings, all that stuff. And the reason I want to use this tool is because I think that the fan that's on Berserker behind me is inadequate. I got the fan for free quite a while ago. It's a single 16-inch fan, and I don't know anything else about it. I have no idea what the CFM rating is or anything. It is mounted to a decent radiator. It's a Griffin Universal 3-row radiator, and that's been great. With this fan, however, I'm not too sure it's up to the task. And the reason I say that is because my last outing at the track, it was a beautiful day out. It was like 50 degrees outside, and although during the pass the car stayed, around 170, 180, it was after the pass when, the speed of the car would slow down, and then idling it back to the pit area, it was getting close to 200 degrees. And then of course, I shut it down, let the fan and the electric water pump run, and it get down to nothing in just a matter of minutes. But it's that creeping up over that idling back time is what is concerning me, especially since it was 50 degrees outside. I mean, what's that going to be when it's 100 degrees outside here in the summer in South Carolina? So I want to go ahead and get ahead of this now. So I got this tool, and I'm going to go ahead and try it out and measure the CFM output of this fan that's on this car and see what we're working with here. I have a feeling that it is not what I thought it was. I've always been a believer that the larger 16-inch fans were like 2,000 CFM and more. But after doing some research, I have found out very quickly that that is not the case. They range anywhere from 800 CFM to 1,000 CFM on most of the eBay and Amazon cheap ones, and then 1,000 to 3,000 on the higher end brand name ones. I've looked all over this fan. I can't find a brand name anywhere on it. Like I said, I got it used, so we're gonna dig into it, measure it, see what it's reading, and find out if it's adequate. All right, so here's the tool. As you can see, it is a WindTact model Whiskey Tango 87 Alpha. All right, so here it is out of the box and out of the case. Like I said, it has a case, comes with instructions, and then here's the actual tool itself. It's very lightweight. It's, doesn't feel all that durable, but I would imagine it doesn't really have to be. All this thing does is measure wind speed, and I would think that this thing would be pretty awesome for, shooters and hunters and, racers and stuff like that, because it provides a lot of data. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this thing on. All right, and it has different modes here. All right, if you look right there where it says feet a minute, that's going to be the CFM. I can change that by pushing a button. That's knots, mile per hour, and then kilometers an hour. Since I'm going to be measuring CFM, I'm going to put it back on that setting. But like I said, it has the temperature. You can measure it in all those different ways. It's got an LED light, right? And then you'd have to read the instructions to find out what all these other settings do. But for our purposes, this is what we're going to have it on. I'm going to actually set it to max value, so it'll record up until the max value, and then well, I say we just find out what it does. All right, it's kind of loud. I have the fan on a switch right now off the battery. Normally I have it controlled by the Holly, but this was easier. So I'm going to go ahead and stick this out in front of it and pull it back up and see what kind of reading we get. It feels like it's moving a bunch of air, but I don't know if it's enough. It didn't say for how long, so I'm just going to assume that's enough.
That's measuring 90.75. And then you see the little times 10 underneath it. That tells you to multiply that number times 10. So we're close to, what, 900 to 1,000, somewhere around there. I don't think that's going to be enough. Let me reset this and try it one more time. In 86.42 that time, so I don't think that that's enough. We're going to talk about this here in a second.
So as you can see, it's got a big old aluminum radiator in it. It's got that 16-inch fan on it, but it seems to only be moving around 900 to 1,000 CFM. I don't think that that is enough for this application. So I'm thinking of either putting 2 smaller fans on there to cover more area of the radiator, like maybe 2 10s. I found some online that are rated at 1,000 a piece by a brand name company. So that would double my airflow across the radiator and technically give me 4 more inches of coverage. I've thought about building a shroud for it and sticking with this fan, but it's hard to see. But at the bottom of this radiator, there isn't a lot of meat to adapt a shroud to. And I don't have a sheet metal brake or a metal brake. I don't have anything like that at my disposal right now. And to buy that stuff to make one would actually cost more than to just, hell, I could buy a brand new radiator that has dual fans on it with a shroud. So I haven't really made up my mind yet. But what I do know is that this fan is pulling somewhere around 900 to 1,000 CFM, best case scenario. That last one I did was, what, 860? And that's just not enough. I would like to see 2,000 plus. So that's what I'm going to shoot for. All right, so the tool did what it's supposed to do. It measured the airflow across the radiator, which I'm getting anywhere between 870 to 1,000, you know, with the restriction of the radiator. When the new stuff comes in and do it then, but I'll just do that in a separate video, just so I can get this out there and people can, you know, try this if they want to. So that's fine. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and get on the old interwebs and find some fans that I like. Like I said, I'll probably do the dual 10s or find another single 16 with a better CFM rating. And then if that fails, I may just go with a new radiator with a shroud. I'm not sure yet, but definitely one of those options will be on its way here shortly. So thanks for watching this video. I appreciate you. I hope it helped. Hope it gave you an idea if you've ever wondered about your fan. If so, you can get on Amazon and pick up this tool for, like I said, 25 bucks, I think it was. And you can test yours out yourself. If you're local to me in Columbia, South Carolina, and you want to come by and just use mine, hit me up, and you know, you can use it all you want. So thanks again, and talk to you soon. Psych. So yeah, I wanted to go ahead and add this in there as well. The last track outing on my last pass, the throttle cable there had what I thought was broken. In all reality, it actually had just pulled out of that area right there because the set screw had come loose, I guess. So I know I said I was going to go to one of those rod linkage type deals, and I've decided against it because I had a new cable here to try and fix this, and I believe that what happened was when I pedaled it in the air during the wheelie, I stabbed it really hard and put a lot of stress on that end there, and it just pulled out. And then when I checked the tightness of that screw, when I disassembled everything, it was not that tight. So what I did to remedy it, and what I'm going to try on the next track outing, and it's not going to be this weekend, I don't think, because I think it's supposed to rain all weekend. I know it's raining right now. But what I did to remedy it was I I ran a new cable through, and then up in here, after I got it adjusted to where I wanted it, up in here, I put some solder in there right next to the cable. I heated up the solder until it, you know, liquefied in there, and then I took the set screw out, right, and I took a syringe and filled it full of blue Loctite, and then I pumped as much blue Loctite in there as I possibly could, and then immediately put the set screw back down in there. So that takes care of this end. What I did on the other end, excuse the mess, I'm sitting here messing with this thing. But what I did on this end was I built a throttle stop. And I don't know if you can see it back there. I might have to turn on a light. But it's basically just a 1/2-inch bolt with a big old thick washer behind it and then a nut behind it. And what I did was I drilled a hole in the floor, and then I put a nut-sert in there, and then I ran this down and adjusted it until to where I had, you know, wide open throttle. And it does. That pedal has about 1.5 inches of travel, and it gets me to 100% on the TPS. So, but I was clearly able to see where it hit the floor the last outing. So that's where I drilled and then ran the bolt, and it actually worked out perfect. I don't know how well I'll be able to show you the range of motion here, but yeah, that's very difficult. You'll just have to take my word for it, but it does. It stops the pedal. It won't overstretch the cable. It won't put too much tension on the on that cable end up here, right here. And I believe it should be all right, at least to test out before I commit to anything else. I was looking into those throttle rods, don't get me wrong, and they seem pretty complicated, and seems like a lot of people have a lot of issues with them binding up and having to run clips on your pedal so that you can unbind it if it does bind up. I'm not interested in all that stuff right now. I ran that setup just like that for years and never had a problem with it. So I'm not ready to bail on this method yet, just because I've had one issue with it. So yeah, so for now, the car is fixed, other than me ordering some new fans for it. But I could technically just plug in the wire back to the Holly and it'd be ready to go. There's nothing else going on with the car. So, but yeah, I just wanted to touch on that and let y'all know that I did come up with a resolve, and I'm anxious to test it out. So again, thank you for watching this video, and I do appreciate you.
The echoes of eternity. The holla calling me. To pluck the strings of destiny.